me turn the microphone on. At least that way you can hear me. Can you hear me now, everybody? I know Eric and Mr. Fox can hear me.
True. I can't hear you.
Yeah. So we're here to launch the book finally. After forever and ever and ever and ever, we're launching the book. I bet you guys are pretty happy about that.
I'm excited.
It's been a long time.
me and Eric's been waiting for a long time, man. You don't even know.
I was the final piece of the puzzle.
That's right. When you got in there, it just kind of fell into place. Let's see who we got in the chat here. We got Lorenzo Sleestack. HG is here dropping links. Of course, Eric, I see you there in the chat too.
They're saying, Fox, fix your mic.
What's why? Is that better?
Is he too loud?
I don't know.
It might be where I have it running through here, so it's kind of weird. He's probably echoing on mine. Let me turn my speakers down. I'll just have to put my headphones on. You know, I said I wasn't going to do that. I said I'm not wearing headphones, and here I am wearing headphones. Yeah, the echo was my fault, guys. Sorry. They were all blaming you for it.
Come on.
It's all your fault.
It is.
Yeah, we got Eric Hawkins in the chat. Joe Lowe's here. So we've got a couple people hanging out with us. That's cool. That's really cool. So we've been wanting to launch it. How long have we had this done, Eric? You've had the art done for probably over a year now.
In November.
Yeah,
I believe.
It'll be a year here. By the time the book is supposed to be fulfilled and completely out there, it will have been a year.
Well, I guess sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was saying I guess I started the backup for it, the deluxe edition, somewhere around that time last year.
Yeah.
So if we go from that time, what I've been waiting for that's been about a year. But I didn't finish that. I gave you the last page in January or something.
Yeah, but we were nowhere near ready to do anything. It was kind of funny. You were like, "Oh man, I hope I'm not holding you up." Just like, don't worry, you're not.
Yeah, because I had met Joe at a convention in October last year, and I think I was working on it. Because I had told him it was coming.
It's been a while. What's crazy, man, is I've been trying to get somebody to work on this. Probably as right after the first Lone Wolf. I had the script done, and different artists would be like, "Man, I want to do that," and they would do they'd come up with their design for PsychoTron, and then they'd look at the script, and then they'd be like, "I'll send you a page," and then they never would. So I think I've went through 3 or 4 different artists, man, on this.
And I don't think my designs matched anything they had done, had they?
No, man, it was crazy. Because I kind of told you the thing I was going for, and still I didn't, I was like, okay, this is cool. I didn't even...
At first you were like, I'm not sure.
Yeah, what threw me off was the red hair. I was like, red hair? Because I don't ever think of any character. And then, I remember I was like, well, try this color hair and try this color hair. But after seeing him the first time with red hair, it was never any different.
No, because I tried black, brown, and it didn't look right.
No, it had to be red. And, I don't know, it was so weird because I'd seen, 3 or 4 different designs. Every design that people did was really cool, but they were all really different. There was one where he looked more like RoboCop, and then one guy did one where he pretty much looked like Deadpool, except mostly metal. And then Andrew Acosta, which was did the half of the Lone Wolf book, he did a Psychotron that you could see through the top, and you could see his brain. It was really different, but it was really cool.
Yeah, I think I pictured him as RoboCop when I first heard you describe him.
Yeah, I kind of thought of him more as RoboCop, and actually the way Eric did the art and stuff kind of led me to change things I've got coming up, like in the story. Like the way issue 2 starts now is completely different idea, because of the way Eric's kind of designed him. Because I was like, because a lot of people ask me, well, like when they see the designs now, they're like, well, how much of a robot is he? Is it just the arms and legs? And I'm like, I don't know. That's something we could get into.
Well, that was probably the hardest page in issue 2 so far.
Yeah, I thought that was awesome though, man.
Full body scan, trying to decide what is and what isn't.
Yeah, I can't wait for people to see that. And I
that's
like.
cool.
Go ahead.
That's a cool thing about working on this is like we go back and forth. Like the three of us have a chat going on, and we share what we're working on. We show each other, and it's a lot of fun to work on something so collaborative.
Yeah, I mean, like really, dude, when you came in and started working on that, it's like a piece just popped in. And like I know, like you sent pages, and I was like, well, maybe do this instead. And like I don't know, it was perfect because you dropped stuff in there that where we had nothing, and it was like a fun little joke. I know a couple of little jokes you dropped in. I was like, that's got to stay. I really liked it. It makes it a lot of fun. I feel it. It's not as stressful because I don't feel like I have to do every little thing or make every little move. Like I've got comfortable. Okay, Lorenzo's saying I'm twice as loud as
saying
everybody.
You're twice as loud.
Let me back my microphone off. Maybe this will help. I turn you guys up and turn me down.
Okay, what about now?
Is that better, guys? I'm twice as loud because I'm twice as important.
Writers.
Like I've worked with other people where it's like you had to tell them every move to make. We got Pixel Trader in here. Hey, Pixel Trader. We're gonna have to get on Drawn and Quartered Fan Edition and hang out with those guys on there. Joe says Eric is really low. Eric, you need to get louder.
Let me get louder.
I can only control those guys' general volume, not their separate volumes. Like I was saying though, it made it a lot easier because I got comfortable enough working with Eric. I went from detailing every little move in the script where it was like panel 1 this happens, panel 2 this happens, to where now I'm writing on this page this is what I think should happen, and I give a description, write the stuff out, and he's just rolling with it. I feel like we're on the same page, and if I just throw out my ideas, he can surprise me with what's going on. He's not trapped by my linear, this panel has to do this and this has to do this.
Okay, guys, what about now?
Is he louder now? Does that help? Maybe it helps. This is what happens when you have to use StreamYard and run it into Streamlabs. Just to be ridiculous. We've got 15 minutes till we launch. Nobody says it, and let's just.
Okay, Lorenzo said yes.
All right, good. Good, Lorenzo.
Okay, Joe said sounds better too, so it's good.
Good. Would you? Oh, we got Brad in chat. Says hope it all goes well for you guys. Thanks, Brad. Brad,
that cover was awesome.
Yeah, it's epic. I'm going to open it here in a little bit and show everybody. But do you think it's easier, Eric, for you to work off a script that's panel by panel descriptions, or would you rather just have a vague description and roll with it?
I don't know. I've worked off every type of script you can think of. I had to take one time a paragraph and turn it into an issue.
Oh man.
So, I mean, panel by panel's easy, but it's almost easier if it's just page by page.
Yeah. Yeah, because sometimes.
Because if it's panel by panel, sometimes I'll be like, no, I'm getting rid of that panel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and see, like if I write a page too, you drawing it, you can see how it moves better than I can in my head.
And sometimes people want too many panels per page, and it's like, especially because art styles vary, and some art styles just can't acquiesce to like 7 panels a page. I feel like.
I tell you what I want more than anything, and I try not to do it too bad. I like 1-page spreads more than anything. I want just a single page, just an epic page. That's what I want. If I did a book, it would just be just one big piece of art for every page.
So like the death of Superman.
Yeah, it'd just be like, I think Savage Dragon did that. I think Eric Larson did that in one of those books too. Every page was just like that one panel.
Sometimes those are harder.
Yeah, to convey a story, it would be, but it'd still be fun. It's a little ridiculous. We got 7 people in here with us.
Well, we got 10 minutes to go.
Hopefully it'll launch when I hit the button. The last several times I've launched books, I'll go launch, and it'll go, something stupid will pop up and say, you didn't do this. And I'm like, no. Then people's messaging me going, hey, I can't get them perks, them secret perks ain't up yet. I'm like, you gotta wait. You gotta give me a minute. My brain's got the dumb.
Well, some of the secret perks are sitting right in front of me.
Yeah, they're gonna be awesome. Yeah, I ended up with 4 secret perks. I did the ones with your stuff, and then I did ones that's just gonna have like a bunch of extras. Because I feel like the people that signed up early, if they're gonna sign up early and they're gonna back early, I want them to be able to grab this extra stuff. You know, have something a little special that everybody else isn't going to get. We got Zippy the Unicorn in the chat. What's up, Zippy? He says Countdown to Extinction. Dropping the Megadeth references there.
I still haven't heard the new song.
Oh, dude, it's awesome.
I've heard the first 2, but not the third one.
Yeah, I listened to it the other day, man. I really like. I think it might be the best one they've done yet.
Oh, really?
Yeah, off the new album.
Yeah, I'll have to listen to it.
I actually did you see the comic book they did a couple years ago? It's a Megadeth comic, and it's like based on all their songs. Got different people doing art and stuff in it.
I've seen a Megadeth comic book, but I don't know if it's the same one.
Now, this is like a big hardback. I bought it and I haven't read it. It's been in my bedroom for 2 years, sitting on the shelf.
I've got plenty of those.
I've got tons of those sitting around here. Actually, I've got a whole shelf back here. Half of them I read. I don't know anymore. Like I read most of my stuff when I'm at work. So whatever I can get on my tablet, that's what I end up reading. Even though I prefer an actual book to digital, I still end up reading digital more.
Just because it's easier.
Yeah. Ridiculous. Oh man, it's getting close.
Yeah, Lorenzo's tweeting out the link.
Oh man. I hope everybody likes it. I think the book's a lot of fun. It's exactly what I was kind of wanting it to be. It's a futuristic comic, but it's the future from the eyes of the 80s.
Yes. Yeah, and when you first described it on a live stream, I remember hearing about it. I was fixing something in my old house in the bathroom. I remember having your stream on and listening to you describe it, and you're talking about the 80s and all this stuff, and I pictured Psychotron differently. But then once I got to look at the book, it was like, yeah, this is the 80s. It has that feel to it, like
Yeah.
it's almost in terms of the story and the world and everything, like it's almost like a lost piece of something somebody made back then. Now it's finally coming out.
That's because I never came out of the 80s.
There's no reason to. Yeah, dude. Like when you were showing me the art, and one thing, like Tonic said it to me when I was showing him pages. He was like, "Man, this looks a lot like the old Mirage Studios stuff," and I was like, "I think that's awesome because indie '80s stuff, people doing their own thing, and we put colors to it." I told Eric, I said, "Man, I want you to do like flat, old school style colors." And when I saw it in color, man, it just blew my mind. I was like, "This is exactly what I wanted this book to look like." It actually looks better than what I wanted it to look like. I love everything about it. I never told Eric what to do with the guns. I just, in my head, I was like, I want these big, ridiculous guns. And every time you see a gun, it's just ridiculous. It looks like it came out of an 80s B movie. And that's exactly what they're supposed to look like.
So I really enjoy drawing guns, like real guns. And so for me, when I did the cover, I was like, okay, I have to do something to make these not just like normal, real looking guns. And so I was like, they still look pretty.
I noticed you had realistic guns, but I was like, it kind of goes with your throwback old school cover.
It's kind of hard because you get in the habit of drawing regular guns, and then you go to make something ridiculous, and you're like, man, how am I going to make it work?
Right. And like for me, the some of the things that I find it fun to draw are cars, like realistic looking guns, like just normal stuff. And so for me, like the image guys, like they're crazy over the top guns. I'm like, how could you not know how to draw a gun? To me, like probably because these guys grew up in Canada or California or wherever.
Yeah.
They weren't in the country with guns, or like me with, in Arizona where we're cowboys, so growing up around them, I guess I don't really,
I was listening to Rob Liefeld on his podcast, Tell a Story, and he's talking about how when Jim Lee did the Punisher books, Jim Lee tried to make all the guns like real guns. So if you read the old Punisher, he's got real guns. And when Mike Barron wrote the Punisher, he actually talked about real guns in there. And Rob was like talking about how he was at a convention, and like gun dudes were coming up to Jim Lee and be like, "Dude, that's awesome! You put the M16 with the missile launchers and not missile launchers, but grenade launchers and all this stuff." And he was like, I can't do that. He goes, "I've got to do ridiculous guns because I know nothing about guns." And because he was talking about how those guys were so hardcore, they would point out if a gun was wrong. And I was like, well, nobody can point out that he did wrong guns because his guns are just ridiculous.
Well, on that Airboy cover I did, I had the whole thing colored. And I asked my son, I was like, man, the gun looks wrong. What did I do? And I realized I had the barrel on backwards.
Well, and then you showed me, and I was like, man, his finger would get taken off by that slide. You need to change that.
Zippy says, you're doing a Kickstarter too. Yes, leave no money on the table. We are doing a Kickstarter, but we have an exclusive cover we're going to do for Kickstarter. And it's something, I say that when you guys see what Eric did, you're going to poop in your pants. That's how good it is. But we're going to do the Kickstarter. I'm going to run this for 25 days. And we'll probably start the Kickstarter up around the end of the 25 days somewhere. So be on the lookout for that too. I don't want to do both exactly at the same time it's hard enough setting this ridiculous Indiegogo page up, much less trying to set up a Kickstarter at the same time.
Yeah, and that cover took quite a while.
Oh, it's insane, man. I sat here and zoomed in on it and was looking at all the little details and stuff you put in. I was like, that is so cool. I'm actually excited about people seeing Fox's backup story in this book.
Oh, his backup story is fun.
It's so fun, and it's like, it's so his style, but it's still Psychotron. It's really, I don't know, it's really neat.
It was fun to do, man. It's fun to do these short comics. I really enjoy doing like these 5-10 page comics for people because it pushes me, especially because I don't know what I'm gonna have to draw, and I tend to draw the same stuff for my own stuff, and I hadn't really drawn many cars before, and cars featured in this, and I was like, man, I love drawing cars. I want to draw more cars, and so
So you put a car on your cover.
exactly, yep.
Well, what's fun about your story is watching my story happening as yours starts.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really neat. I liked that. So, man, I don't know if you guys, I don't know if I've told you, if you've heard me talk about it on stream. This is like, it's an 80s B movie, but it's Magnum PI as well. It's just, the whole thing is Magnum PI. I don't know if you can imagine that, but just imagine, like, a story starts off. Magnum's working for, trying to raise some money for something or another, doing some odd job. He ends up getting hired at the club. Then he gets in a mess. You know, it's just a Magnum PI episode.
See, you keep saying Magnum, but I keep seeing Rockford Files.
Yeah, I mean, there you go. That's the kind of stuff that, man, I love detective stories. And I know that this is not some hard whodunit story, and you're not going to be sitting around going, I wonder who the bad guy is. But it's just got that fun kind of, you know, we go here to here to here. We hit these different parts of the story and see different things. It's just really fun to do. And it was really fun to see you've got a completely different character who's part of the story watching another part of the story unfold. I thought that was really fun.
And I drew that before I saw the actual comic, and so for me, it was like I had this ending piece of the story, and I didn't know, like, well, how did they get here? And then later I got to see it. So
yeah, later you lettered the entire book.
I was the first person to read it.
Oh man, guess what, guys? It's 12 o'clock.
There we go.
So I'm going to change the display real quick and go to PsychoTron Indiegogo. And we're going to go. Everybody can watch me do this now. Settings, in demand. Let me make sure real quick that it's the funding and everything's right. I think it is. We'll just go ahead and launch it. Save and continue. Review and launch. Here we go. I swear if I had to put in okay, I have to complete basics. What is here that I haven't completed? Oh my goodness. My state wasn't in there. Review and launch.
Oh, come on. The IRS has to know where to go.
I told you, every time it's always something goofy. Every time. My video has disappeared that I had on here. You guys get to watch me fix this in real time. Everybody's watching me. I told you that something would go wrong. Now people's like flipping out. Oh no! Oh no! It's 12 and I can't do anything. It's all right, guys. I'll fix it. It always does this to me. I'll fill out every part of it, and then as I'm going through to launch, it tells me random things that I've done aren't there and don't exist. And question: is this awesome? Answer: totally. Save and continue. Okay, we know the perks is good. Review and launch. Okay, still tell me I need information for basics. And watch, I'll go back. It'll be the same stuff I've already done. State: Tennessee. I want to karate chop this, guys. At least it saved my video. What did it say? What else on there? Team. Oh, you had all this, you turd. You guys get to see all my legal information. And it just messed all that up. No joke, I filled all this in. It's got the wrong phone number on here. You guys want my phone number? Here it is. There's my street address, my email name. Fixed funding. Okay. Okay, let's go. Let's launch. Team. Oh my goodness, guys.
Making it difficult this morning.
Roll. Awesome, dude. That's my role in this. Okay. Save and continue. Review and launch. It's still telling me something about team. I don't understand what I need to put in here on team. There's me. Oh, it's the state again, guys.
They're saying you doxed yourself.
Well, I pretty much have. Which, I mean, you can look me up online, believe it or not. You can find all this information. Here we go. Here we go. It's going, guys. It's going. It's launching. It's live. Woo! I'm gonna share it on Facebook.
Yeah, it's up.
Going back, if you got the emails, it'll be from Gravestone Press. You'll have different doodads, links there that you can click. Apparently, it doesn't want me to share it on Facebook. That's fine. That's fine. I don't care. We don't care. Let's go back to this.
Lorenzo said edit it out later.
Yeah, there we go. Well, dadgum, I've messed it all up here. Launched. I'm opening another. Like I said, I've got it all messed up here. This is what happens when you try to do everything at the last minute. Zippy the Unicorn says, I live right next to Doug and he doesn't realize. That's wrong because my brother lives right next door to me and past him which is really far away. I know that guy. And those people live past him. So we got it all figured out. I know it's not a unicorn.
You know, it's funny. It's like when someone online goes by just an image and you never see their face. And then with Zippy, obviously unicorns aren't real. Sorry, Zippy. But I still picture whenever I see Zippy's tweets or anything that has to do with Zippy, I still picture that unicorn puppet no matter what. Like I don't like Lorenzo, I picture a real person. Like I don't know what he looks like, but there's some image in my head. Like I don't picture a slee stack, but Zippy, man, he's just a unicorn. can I say?
That's your artist brain.
Right?
That's your artist brain working. Oh, Zippy's in Axel's doghouse.
Axel don't have a doghouse. So we're currently at $0. So hopefully we get some backers. Of course, it took me 5 minutes to get it up. Everybody probably is like, "This isn't even up," and just laughed. Oh well. Also didn't share it on Facebook. That's what I'm doing right now, sharing it out on the different places. Trying to spell too.
You know what kind of car I put on my cover? I was like, man, it's got to be something retro, but also represent the future. So I put a Ford Galaxy because I was like, Galaxy, space.
There
that's
you
futures.
go. I love the Ford Galaxy. Is it the Galaxy or is it a Galaxy 500?
It's a Galaxy 500.
See, that makes it even cooler because they just threw a random number behind it.
Yeah.
If you want to make something cool, you just throw a random number. See, if I made a car today, it'd be like the Wolverine 10,000. People be like, man, that is a cool car.
Well, that's why when I drew it, there's not one person in that issue that has a device. I wanted to make sure, just like back in the 80s, what we thought it might look like.
Yeah.
Right.
Which was always a nuclear wasteland anyway back then.
Yeah. I think everybody expected it to be a nuclear wasteland by the time the 80s were over.
And for it to be really 80s, we got to have quicksand at some point.
Yeah, somebody's got to fall in some quicksand.
Do you ever see what's that Firewalker? It's a movie with Chuck Norris, and I think there's quicksand in that one. I haven't seen it in years. I mean, that's an 80s movie. That's the reason I bring that up.
I don't think I've seen it.
I've seen it, but it's been so long ago, I don't remember.
It's one of those ones that like I saw Saturday afternoon matinee, and then I was like, obviously Chuck Norris, and so you're a little kid, and you're like, man, so awesome. And then I always wanted to see it again. I didn't see it for like a decade, and then I saw it, and it was still great.
We got Skinny in the chat, and he says, "Hey guys,
Well,
So Skinny.
I'm gonna open up. I'm not gonna show you my address, even though I was just showing it off a few minutes ago. I don't want to show off Brad's address. I'm gonna open up this artwork. Oh man. This is even more epic in real life.
Yeah, that looks nice.
It is so good. I might just have to back that perk myself and keep it. At least we'll almost get funded out of my pocket.
It's like Gary Shipman did I inked my pencils for the cover of Steven Starlight, and I'm not offering that. I'm keeping it.
See, on Lone Wolf, I sold the cover on Lone Wolf. It was my first comic, and I really didn't want to. But Jeff, we put all the pages up, and I ended up with a few extra. I kept my favorite page, and I have it framed, and it hangs on the wall over here. So maybe we'll fund today, guys. I don't know. Maybe we won't. Man, I keep clicking the wrong button and showing everybody my my Twitter and all this other stuff.
Just trying to get you a house guest.
Yeah. Well, I have a lot of guns. You probably don't want to show up unannounced. see. Man, I searched PsychoTron, and there's something called the Psychotronic, and it's a film.
What, you ripped off a film?
Apparently. We still have no backers. Maybe Monday morning was a bad time to launch. I was kind of hoping we'd get funded today. I might have to fund this thing myself.
Lorenzo's saying he doesn't see the secret perk.
Did you get the Did you click on it through the email, Lorenzo? When you click on it through the email, let me see if I can make it. See if I can get to it without doxing myself or something. Let's see.
I think you're safe there. You've already done it.
Yeah, I know. But I got other people's stuff in here, so I don't want to dox them. Let me go to the mail and open it up. Let's see. Let's see. Sent. Okay. So I'll scroll down a little bit. You guys, I'll let you see my. Can you see my email there? You can kind of see it, right? Let me go to this display. Axel's still on it. Okay. So you got different secret perks here. You've got standard book with head sketch, deluxe book with head sketch, standard book with a grab bag, deluxe book. Let's say you want to get the standard with the head sketch. Click it. So you're seeing my thing here. You'll come over and you'll go down, and there's your secret perk. Sign up special. And then there it is. There's only 12 of these on the standard book. Anything else you want, when you click it, click this link or get this perk. This, you'll be able to add anything else you want to it. If you want the CD, you want another standard book, you want the Fofox Pros cover, you want Brad's cover, you want a deluxe book, you want a t-shirt. Hey, look, somebody got a t-shirt. So
I don't know. Skinny said he's backer number one.
So I might have to like do something awesome for Skinny since he's backer number one. Because Skinny, if you guys don't know, Skinny's my boy.
I was up late last night working on Skinny's cover.
Dude, he showed me that cover and it blew my mind. Best thing I've ever seen in my life. Oh, sorry, Skinny. I've only got it set up to get one. If you want to, I'll make you a perk here in a little bit where you can grab another shirt and won't add no extra shipping or nothing. I didn't think about anybody trying to get two shirts because I'm a big dummy. Oh, I'm so dumb. But anyways, there you go. Let me go back to this and go to this. Okay, Lorenzo. Zippy tried to be number one, but he didn't have his card saved. That's probably a good thing that you didn't have a card saved.
Well, we're almost a fifth of the way there.
I'll have to look now. I'm trying to be careful because I've got a page open up here on the bottom and a page open on the top, so I can click without moving it off of us. Hey, there we go. What's that say? Skimmy. Good Lord, what is wrong with you guys? I'd say so far Skinny's killing it. Dropped in and got us like almost a fourth of the way funded. That's cool. Skinny says that the missus, he says, cool beans, but the missus and I still rock our Lone Wolf t-shirts. Dude, I absolutely destroyed my Lone Wolf t-shirt. I wore it so much you can't hardly even see what's on it. It's ridiculous. Lorenzo says your campaigns are set up way more logically than a lot of campaigns, Doug. Well, I think it's because I have to, when I sit and plan it out, like...
He's had 9 months to plan it.
Yeah, that's a long time. It just, I go for the easiest setup in my brain, which sometimes I don't know if my logic and normal people's logic are the same, but yeah.
That's okay. Hopefully it won't be 9 months for number 2.
Yeah. Well, hopefully if number 1 gets funded, we'll be able to get number 2 out. Hopefully there'll be a demand for number 2. Maybe we'll learn.
It doesn't matter. I'm making number 2.
Skinny says his shirt has mildew damage and holes, but it still covers the nipples. I guess that's all that matters.
Well, I figured the nipples would be gone, Skinny.
I would think on a Skinny shirt that'd be the first thing to go. Oh man, we got 2 backers now. Maybe I should go over the perks in case some of you people are undecided on what you want. Or just don't know. Because that happens sometimes. Let me go to this display. We'll open up PsychoTron. We'll go back. Which if you watch most of my streams, I've went over everything a million times. Okay, this is the secret perk. We don't want the secret perk. We want the regular one. Let's see. How do we go to Raglar? Indiegogo.com/Psychotron. How do I spell Psychotron?
You forgot.
You would think. Oh no, I did something wrong. We'll just search for it. You know what's funny is many times as I've typed it out, I still have a hard time with it all the time. Psychotron, there it goes. Oh man, we're at $150. 30%. Awesome, guys. Thank you. So, if you're looking and you're like, Lorenzo says, what's standard versus deluxe? The standard book, Lorenzo, is a regular comic book. It's just going to be, just a regular comic book. It's not going to have any special cover. It's going to be printed on regular paper with regular insides. The deluxe comic book is going to be a holofoil wraparound cover, and it's going to be additional pages. It's going to have nearly 50 pages of content. So that's almost double what you're getting. Well, that is double what you're getting with the standard book. It's got 2 backup stories in it. The deluxe book does. It's going to have additional artwork. So it does cost $20 compared to $5, but it's a really awesome copy of the book. I have to say Eric's wraparound cover is really killer on that because it's got
ninjas.
So, anyways, our perks here, you can get Brad's cover art, and if you get that one, it comes with the deluxe book, the wraparound cover by Eric. It comes with the soundtrack, and it comes with Brad's version of the book, which is a standard. It's a standard book, but it's got the holofoil on it. And let me switch to this real quick. Let me zoom in on my display. You'll get this actual artwork right here, which is pretty awesome. I think this is the only physical artwork we actually have for the book, because Eric works digitally, as does the Firefox Pro. So this is the only physical piece of PsychoTron art. So that's why it's so awesome. But yeah.
Except for maybe some secrets.
Yeah, except for some secret perk stuff that you've got to get the secret perks. And if you didn't sign up, you don't get that stuff because you're not cool. Well, you're not as cool. Then we've got the standard cover one. That's the standard 24-page comic. You know, just a regular old comic book. It's got Eric's cover there that you can see really large. It's an awesome cover. It's got those 80s neon pink things, and you see a lot of the characters from the book. Then you've got the digital standard, which is just a PDF of the 24-page book. And I'll throw in the other cover arts in there too. You'll get Firefox Pros and even a copy of Brad's, just because. And then, of course, here, if you want the Firefox Pro cover, you can just grab it. It's $5. You can get the standard book with the CD. The CD is going to have 5 tracks of music by me.
I love that car on fire.
Yeah, it's awesome, isn't it? Not only did you put a Ford Galaxy on there, Firefox, you destroyed it.
That's right.
Then, of course,
go
ahead.
Iron Maiden. Somebody will be happy later.
Yeah. You can get the Firefox Pro cover and CD. You can get the Brad cover, which is going to be holographic. So it costs a little more. You can get the digital book as a PDF. It's a little bit cheaper and there's no shipping. You can get the artwork, but it's not going to be as cool because it's not holographic. So you can get the Brad cover and the soundtrack. You can get the deluxe book. Like I said, there's going to be nearly 50 pages in there. It's a wraparound cover. It's going to have holograms on it. So, and you can get it with the soundtrack. You can get all covers if you want all the covers there. It's $45. Then you can get all covers in the CD, which apparently we had 2 people claim that, which that's awesome.
Well, and that's like the normal price for a lot of these comics that come out. I feel like is around $45, and you're getting all the covers and a physical CD. Like it's not just like a download in your email. Like you're getting a real CD, and I feel like that fits so much with the sort of.
Maybe we should have done cassette tapes.
I know. I was just thinking, like, too bad.
Oh no! Now hold on. You're laughing because my 10-year-old, I had to get her records and I had to get her cassettes.
Dude, I think records and cassettes are awesome. I actually wanted to put out I want to do the soundtrack on vinyl.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, I don't think we'd ever get enough backers to do anything.
You've talked about that before, I feel like.
That's been a goal of mine for a long time, is to get any of my music on vinyl. I actually have an actual album I'm working on. It's like a southern metal, like sludge rock kind of thing. And I would kill to be able to get it put on vinyl, but I don't think there's going to be a demand for it. No demand for it. That's just how the way she goes. So let's see where we're at now. We've got 3 backers and we're at $150. So hey, that's awesome. That's really cool. We're 30% funded, so we just need to get funded today. I want to get it funded today.
Go.
It's one reason I said it at the 500. I was hoping we could fund today, and I could spend the rest of the month being like, "Hey, stretch goals." Oh, we're at 177 now.
Go.
I'm gonna have some cool stretch goals. Some of them's not gonna be as actual physical things. Let's see.
But you never know.
I might do some more some stuff like this.
It's pretty riddled.
This was just I think 9mm and 223, so it didn't really do a whole lot.
I have a cyber frog, and I read it, and it's not really my jam. Like it, it's not what I like in comic books because I'm a weirdo, I guess. But that likes to read real niche stuff. But I tried to take it into the secondhand shop because I wasn't going to read it again. You know, this is a second used bookstore, big chain here in Arizona, and you know they sell comics for as little as 50 cents, right?
Yeah.
So I figure I'll get a dime in trade credit or something, right?
Yeah.
Nothing. Nothing.
They wouldn't give
Nothing.
you
They didn't want
anything.
it. They didn't want it. I was like, you got to be kidding me. That was a while ago, so maybe now they'd be like, oh, this is a real desired item because for some reason. But I've seen Common America books there on the graphic novel shelf. So it's kind of funny that the only books I've seen out in the wild, they're crowdfunders. Is in Arizona. It's not as uncommon because Brian Polito is located here, but Lady Death Comics and then Common America. Those are the only two I've seen out in the wild, I think, that were crowdfunded.
Yeah. I'm actually probably going to shoot some of my crowdfunders, and and I've, like I'm saying, it's not because I have any hard feelings in anybody. It's because I don't want them. I'm not going to pay to send them in the mail to somebody. I'm not going to try to sell them. I would rather the actual people be able to sell a new copy than me try to resell my old one. I don't, you know what I mean? I'd rather them be able to make the money than. But I've got some I just don't want, and I'm going to shoot them. And hopefully nobody gets their feelings hurt. But if they do, oh well, I paid for it. I knew what I want with it. I actually have some Common America CDs. If we get funded today, I'll shoot these with a gun. This is where I did the theme music, and that one girl, I can't pronounce her name, she sings over it. So if we get funded today, let's see how many I got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For every $100 that we raise today, I'll shoot one of these CDs.
There we go. Let's get it funded, guys. Let's shoot all 5 of them.
I'll shoot them.
He's gonna shoot the CDs.
Yeah. What do you guys want me to shoot them with? I could shoot them with my Desert Eagle.
Yes, sir.
I've got a shotgun, a KSG I could shoot them with. I've got my John Wick pistol I could shoot them with. Desert Eagle. It might just be the Desert Eagle. Like I said, no, there's no hard feelings anywhere. It's just stuff I don't want to sell it. It's piled up here in my house. And this stuff actually, I've got a channel where I shoot things with guns, and I shoot guns. Me and my brothers posted like a few videos and a few shorts, and we're already like at 200 subscribers, I think. So I'm like, if I just post more stuff and shoot more stuff, we'll get some subscribers there, and I'll get rid of some junk. But yeah, we get funded, and I'll shoot all 5 of them CDs today. And it'll be awesome. You guys will like it. Let's see. We'll see where we're at. We're still at 177. Gonna have to get those numbers up, guys.
Yeah, I saw what I need to add into issue 2. It's got to be bullet belts. in those 80s style wristbands.
you
Yeah,
go.
there you go.
Leg warmers, leg warmers.
I want to do like a super 80s cover. One of you guys is going to have to do this as an alternate cover. But I
Well,
wanted
you
to.
just wanted to do it, so you're gonna have to draw it.
I can't draw it. I want it to. I want it to look cool. But I want to see PsychoTron leaned up against like a Ferrari with a Hawaiian shirt on.
I'll have to do it. I'll do it. I'll be the Psychotron takeover. I call it.
It's just got to be done. So Skinny,
I've got some ideas.
I gotta say, give a shout out to Skinny and HG for sharing the page out. And I was gonna say, guys, I don't have on the page. I meant to be telling you guys this, and I've completely failed. I don't have international shipping up. So if you're international and you want the book, send me a message. You can send it on Twitter. You can send it through Indiegogo, whatever. And we will figure out actual shipping to where you are. And I'll make a perk so you can back the book. I just didn't want to put it up there and put a general price because it seems like international shipping always comes back and bites somebody in the butt.
It fluctuates too much.
Yeah. Oh, Eric Hawkins is backer number 4, so
Let's go.
that's somebody too. I want Eric Hawkins to do a cover, but he's covered up doing his Zombie for World of Oz and his spin-off from Zombie for World of Oz.
Which I've seen a page of.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be awesome. I told him if he had time and could squeeze one in there, maybe we'd put it on, could get it on the Kickstarter. But if, you know how it is being busy doing your stuff. So we're at 195. So we're getting up there. Somebody in the chat said, I don't think anyone can buy those CDs anymore. So that makes it even better that I'm going to shoot them.
Right?
I will
Especially now
shoot.
that it's getting big in Japan, dude. Those are worth money, man.
Oh, big in Japan.
Big in Japan.
The Tom Waits song.
Yeah.
It won't be so big once you shoot them.
Nobody even knows I had anything to do with it, so it don't really matter anyways. I don't even listen to them. I don't listen to CDs. I'm fancy. I listen to all my music on this here Google box.
On this here 8-track player.
Yeah. It'd be cool to have a phone that had a built-in 8-track.
So my dad has his old boom boxes from when he was in high school and stuff, and he's also got it has like a cassette player and then has a 8-track on the side of it, and he's also got a cassette to or an 8-track to cassette adapter that he had for his car.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know about no 8 tracks.
Yeah.
Oh, you're not that old, huh?
I think my mom and dad might have had like 1 or 2 8-tracks. They have tons of cassettes, so that's what Dad said. He said they were. I think he had a car. He had a couple cars when he was young, that 8-track players, but he was talking about how bad they were.
Well, sometimes they end like
them being
song, and you have to flip, like, has to go to the other side or whatever. The track has to change. And
I remember being little, you'd get in people's cars and they'd just be in the floorboards.
Like, my whole youth was making random mixtapes. Like, Mom had all these awesome records, like, the Beatles and the Eagles and ZZ Top and Charlie Daniels Band. And so she'd sit down and make mixtapes of songs that didn't have bad words in them for us to listen to.
I think, yeah, I think my dad had his old boom boxes from when he was in high school and stuff, and he's also got it has like a cassette player and then has a 8-track on the side of it, and he's got a I used to tape stuff off the radio. Like if a song that I liked was coming on, I'd hit record real quick
I used to do that too.
on the tape of all my favorite songs.
I used to do that too, man.
Kids don't realize the struggle.
No, and if it didn't come on the radio, you didn't hear it for a long time unless you had the money to go buy a CD, or a cassette.
Yeah, Skinny says cassettes were the best. Small, easy to maintain, easy to record on. Yeah, and you could always stick a Walkman in your pocket. That's like when everybody started listening to CDs and you try to sneak a CD player to school. It didn't exactly fit in your pocket. And then we were poor, so we had the cheap CD players that if you farted on it, it would skip.
Yeah, no skip protection.
Yeah.
That's all. So my brother saved up money and he bought a nice one, and I had a crappy one, and so like it skipped so bad. Ugh.
Yeah, I remember we had the tape adapter and try to listen to it in the car, and you'd hit a slight bump and it would like skip for an hour.
Yep. Oh man.
Oh, come on, Hawkins. You can squeeze it in.
I believe in you.
Oh, look at this humble brag. I've been swamped with commissions and my stuff, but I will try to. I still want to squeeze you out of cover. Yeah, okay, man. Humble brag. Oh, I'm just getting so many commissions, and
I've got faith in you.
So I just got a message from the dog groomer. We found this lady that will come, like on Monday, she'll come to where you're at and groom your dog. And the two huskies that live outside, one's name is Grizzly, and he's long haired. I've never seen a husky that has long hair like he does. But he's 100% husky because we have his brother, and his brother looks normal, and he's just like, but as he's got old, they're like 12 or 13, his hair will not shed, and you can't brush it out, you can't do anything. So he is just a matted mess. And now when he poops, he gets poop on himself, he rolls in the mud. So this lady's supposed to come and cut his hair, and it's going to cost like over $100. But she just messaged me, and she's like, oh, I had somebody cancel tomorrow, can you bring him? And I'm like, no, I've got to go to work. Oh, I don't even want her to see the dog. I'm so like embarrassed that he's that bad. So back this book so I can get my dog groomed.
You need a clean dog.
He lives outside. I told Mom, I said, if I'm going to pay this money and get him groomed, he's going to stay inside. He's going to get a bath regularly. He'll probably hate it. Be like being in prison for him. Well, let's see. I don't reckon we went up any. We're still at 195, which is 40% funded pretty much. Am I going to have to back it too? Don't tell nobody, but I've done it before. It's a secret, though.
so what perks are people getting?
Well, let's see. Let's look. Let me reload the page real quick. Reloaded. So far, we've got one standard book with the soundtrack. We've got two all covers and CDs. So one of them was a secret perk. So I'd say the secret perk people probably are at work and haven't checked their emails yet. So we'll probably
There's a lot of people at work right now.
Yeah, we'll probably see a lot of them roll in. I figured it'd probably be the evening time before people ever started started backing, but it's always, I've heard that it's good to launch on a Monday. So I was like, we'll launch Monday, midday, and that way the stream is up. People want to watch the stream and see how bad I failed and how I doxed myself. They can always, watch that.
Well, if you're like me, it's early too.
Yeah. I just couldn't wait though. I was sitting around and it's like, man, I'm ready to launch, and I really wasn't. I had a bunch of stuff that I needed to fix, and you know how it is. Lorenzo says it may take me a while to decide on a tier. That's fine, Lorenzo. You take your time, buddy. I can't groom the dog today anyway.
Get what you want.
Exactly. I did make, plenty of tiers from people to pick from.
Some people have special Lorenzo tiers that they do. I've seen that before.
Yeah, and that's one thing, Lorenzo. If there's a certain thing that you want, I can make you a secret perk just for that. So that way you can get it. But that's one reason I failed on the t-shirt one. But that's one reason I added, I put where you can add on almost everything as an add-on. If you can't get the combination you want, you can make a combination. So I tried to make it pretty flexible. But I've heard the professional guys that get on there, they go, you should have the least amount of perks as possible. That way you force them into buying, It's like you don't force nobody into buying anything. If I get on there and you've got 2 perks and they're both like over $50 or
no chance.
Yeah, you've got a 24-page book that you charge $25 for. I usually opt out of that.
Well, you have to charge that much if you're only going to do 1 book a year.
Yeah, and you're going to live off of it.
Yeah.
Lorenzo says, I back all your books. I know you do, man. You've been real good to me, Lorenzo. I appreciate it, man.
I don't know about you, Fox, but I do not want to look at the same page for a week straight.
No, I can't. I don't understand. Like if I'm really working on a page, I'll do 2 in a day, and they're not. And people see my pages; they're not. It's not like I'm skimping. Now, granted, I'm not like over rendering it and doing all this like fancy anatomy and all this stuff, but I just don't get it.
Well, and I've been guilty of it before. Putting too much into a panel, it just gets covered up.
Well, yeah. Well, and then like, oh my word! And so the thing is, I don't understand about some of these guys that do this like super detailed black and white work, and then they have a modern colorist come in, and all you see is the colors. All you see is the colors. It's like there's very few colorists and black and line artists working together to actually make good art. I'm not saying the colors are bad. I'm not saying the comics are bad. I'm saying they complement each other. And like somebody like Doug TenNapel, he gets his colorists to do it the way that he wants, so that like both of the things are complemented. But some of these, I can barely, like, I'm looking at the comic and I have to look past colors to see their line art. And it's like, maybe that's what they're going for. I don't know. But it's like, well, then why over render it? Because if the colorist is going to come in and do all their shading and all that stuff anyways, what's the point?
Yeah, and it's just too much time spending there for stuff nobody's ever going to see.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Not to mention it becomes distracting at some point.
And the thing is, like, you go back and, like, I went to Barnes and Nobles a couple weeks ago, and they had a big rack of comic books, American comic books, for $5 each, because they're expanding some other section. They're like, well, we'll get rid of these. These don't sell. So they had them on a rack for $5 each. And I picked up a Bronze Age Swamp Thing, and it's right after Bernie Wrightson left. And it's the first couple issues are by Nestor Redondo, who's a Filipino artist. And this guy was doing like multiple books, and he was drawing covers, and he was like making Filipino comics at the same time he was doing this. And the artwork is better than like 75% of the stuff today. Maybe even more,
absolutely.
you know? Even probably more. It's probably like 80, 90. And it's like, if these guys could do it, what is it? The work ethic? What is it that they were classically trained? Like what is it that made these guys be able to draw like that fast, but you can't do it?
Well, not to mention with the tools you have now, you should be able to crank it out faster.
So
Yeah,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I think it's just work ethic for a lot of people. Like Eric works faster than most people I know.
I do.
But I had a discussion with somebody a while back. They were talking about how they couldn't live off $50 a page, and I was like, if you could do 10 pages a week, you're making more money than I am. Like my checks usually with no overtime for 2 weeks are a little over, just a smidgen over $1,000. I know I live, in a poor part of the country, but are you telling me you can't do 10 pages in a week? You can't make $500 a week doing 10 pages? I've seen Eric do 10 pages probably in that amount of time.
I can do
Well, not 10
22
pages.
I can do 22 pages if I'm cranking in about 3 weeks colored.
Yes.
Fully penciled, inked, colored.
See, like I was telling this guy, he was talking about that, and I was like, okay, you do 5 pages a week, or you do 10 pages a week for that much. Maybe you don't want to make that much. Well, do a good job on those pages. Then after you get them done, ask for more money if they're good. You just, so many artists now just want to do 1 or 2 pages. They want to do a cover or something, and they expect you to pay them a professional rate, but they don't want to do professional work. And I'm not talking about the quality of the work. I'm talking about, a professional work ethic.
Sure. And working from home can be hard sometimes too. But that's why if I'm in a zone, I get as much done as I can, because there's going to be days where you're not going to get anything done.
Right. There's unforeseen things that happen. And
like I tried there for a little while to do music for people, and I just can't do it. I can't sit here at home and crank out music. There's always a distraction. I'm one of those people, I need to go somewhere else to work. I don't need somebody standing over me and telling me to work. Some people need that. But, I need to be away from the distractions of being at home, because I'll be like, I'm going to walk in here and get me a soda. Then I'll see something laying on the table, and I'm like, I need to look at this. I'm going to sit on the couch for a minute. I'm going to see what's on YouTube for a second. By the time I've messed around, it's time to go to bed and get up,
If I was doing editing work from home, which I have done some video editing stuff from home, I work so fast that I get all my work done basically in the morning, and then I'd have the rest of the day to work on stuff of my own. I just don't want to do video editing for people because I hate working for. It gets so redundant when you're editing other people's videos.
I bet. I hate editing my own.
So I like the process of editing. Like I find it really fun, but when you can't bring your own style into things, and you're just doing the same kind of editing, like cutting this, putting it there, it is not fun.
So, I have that music project I was talking about. I have a song that's somewhat political, and it's called King of Fools. And I'm going to talk to you about doing a video for it here later.
Okay.
Because it mostly can be made up of footage that's easily available on the internet. But then I could film some stuff, like me playing guitar or whatever as well.
Yeah.
But Now I'm gonna talk to you about that now that I know that you do video editing. I've watched your videos, but I never really thought about you like doing it professionally.
Yeah, that's what I used to do. I used to do that for a job.
That's cool. My job, I babysit people and get threatened and they throw stuff at me.
Well, I mean, I've had that job too, but
Uh-oh. Thank you, everybody. We're halfway there.
Whoa!
You're going to be loading that
Living
gun.
on a prayer. I'm gonna get my gun and shoot these CDs. Whoa! Flying Saucer in the chat says, "I've been disarmed." I like the dad humor. Yeah, it's cheesy humor.
oh, you're gonna get. Yeah, those are the fun things about it. There's so much just fun 80s-ness about it.
Yeah, ridiculous one-liners all over the place.
And that's what I tried to do with bringing the lettering was I didn't want to just I could have just come in and did standard lettering and stuff, but I wanted to kind of bring some of that classic sound effects and things like that too.
Yeah. I'm glad that you did sound effects too, because I'd never mentioned it, and like I could take it or leave it if depending on how it's done. But the way you did it, I really liked that. So
Yeah, I like the one you did around the swords.
yeah, that one. That's the one, exact one I was thinking of.
That's the one I love.
Yeah, I wanted to do I wanted something there, but I didn't want to cover up like too much, and I think that worked well.
No, you did good about not covering anything up.
Zippy.
I try to leave room for it anyway.
That's kind of the fun part about it is like getting your art, and then which I did on the Ghost backup as well. I got your art and I was able to go in and like, okay, where can I put something? Where should I put the balloons? Where can I put a sound effect? Should this panel be silent? And so like people think for lettering, if they are just stuck in a mindset of like putting words to read on the screen rather than complementing the art.
Now on Ghost, I think Doug and I did Ghost like what, July of last year?
Yeah, it was the first thing that we done. And
I was in between junior high issues, and he was like, "Hey, I got a little 8-pager," and I'm like, "Shoot it my way."
Yeah, after you did that, that's when I was like, this guy would be awesome for PsychoTron. Ghost is so cool.
And so if you guys want those backups and you haven't thought about what you're getting yet, if it was me, I'd get the deluxe edition because I want like those backups are pretty well. I mean,
yeah, man, I
get it. The Ghost one's pretty fun.
Dude, they're both so cool. There's actually supposed to be another one, but the dude he's busy with his stuff, so I'm just gonna let it go. If he don't get time to get it, I might shoot you the script if you want to do it, Fly Fox Pro.
Man, what's crazy is like I drew that pretty much last. I think you sent me the script like November, December of last year, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
For the backup, and I drew it last year, and it helped push my art to a new level. Like every time somebody has me draw something for them, I feel like I level up. And now, like the stuff I'm working on is, I don't know, like 2-3 times better than that.
That last page you posted, the Steven Starlight one.
Mm-hmm.
I think your art is like every time I see something like that, I think that you're like even more, you've leveled up again, because that page was pretty epic. The one that it's Steven Starlight and Titan.
Yeah. Man, like I feel like it's going. There's a lot of room to improve, and now that I have a lot of the fundamentals down, I spent basically since like 2019 is when I started really drawing again for the first time, and I'd done a lot of painting, but I hadn't really done much drawing seriously for a long time. And so once I started back into it, it's like I can draw from life. Like I can draw something that, portrait or whatever, but it's much harder to draw from imagination until you get those basics down and you really work at it. And so like that's what I did for the last 3 years, was work at doing that stuff, and now I feel like it's really paying off.
Zippy's asking in the chat, what programs do you guys use to edit? I guess you're talking about videos.
I use a program called DaVinci Resolve, and it is free.
Oh, you use the free.
But it is a really good program, like professional quality. Like you can do, they have a paid version that has a few more features, but nobody who's doing stuff for fun or even really, like, you could do pretty much everything, the basic stuff you need to do for professional stuff on their free version. Like it's not, like when you're free, you're like, come on. But I've used Final Cut, which is the Apple program that was real popular for a long time. Now Adobe Premiere is pretty much the software that most people are using, and DaVinci is on par with them. There's some things that are a little clumsy, but for the most part, I would say that it is as good.
I just try to use programs that are the simplest. I had a free one. I can't remember what it's called. But right now I'm using Filmora Wondershare or whatever the crap it is. I actually paid like the cheapest subscription thing on it.
And the good thing about DaVinci for people who do film editing is that it has a really good color. You can do a lot of stuff with color in it, and some people actually prefer the way to do colors there. And so what they'll do is they'll do a lot of their editing in Adobe Premiere, and then they'll do their color correction in DaVinci Resolve. So it's kind of interesting.
We had another question, and I was looking at the picture so I could answer it. Flying Saucer says, the dialogue bubble one. Yeah, it's PsychoTron's supposed to be saying it. So it's going to the right character. It's just in a kind of odd spot. I thought it was fine myself. I knew where it was going, but also I've seen the book a million times and I knew it was going on, so I still think I just scrolled down and there's the words there where they're fighting with swords. The sound effect, still my favorite. Katang.
I also put references to things in some of the sound effects, so people have fun looking for some of the more popular, well-loved sound effects.
I like sound effects. We're still at 247. And I did make a post on Twitter.
Saucer, that's what Fox's art reminds me of too.
Well, I thank you both. That is very, very kind of you. And that is a big influence on my stuff. Asterix and Obelix, Hergé's, 1010. Those are the things that I like. And I've been experimenting with stuff, and I've been doing a lot of different things, but I keep coming back to that style, and I think it's just for me.
Yeah, I like it. It does remind me of 1010, though. That's a good thing. 1010 is awesome.
Well, and for me, like, I grew up reading Golden Age, Silver Age stuff. I didn't read any of the modern stuff till much later because I didn't have access to it. I didn't even know a comic book shop existed other than on TV. Like some of the
Yeah.
characters might go to the bookshop. I never knew where one was. So I read Archie, and I read the stuff at the library, which was collections of the DC Archive editions. Came out in the 90s, and my library had them. And I read those. So those were Golden Age, Silver Age stuff, and read Captain Marvel. So the early Captain Marvel stuff's a big influence as well. C.C. Beck art, just his style. And I usually look at those, and from time to time I'll go look at Tintin or Hergé, and I'm like, okay, now that I've learned how to draw myself a little bit, I can see what they did, and I'm like, oh, I can incorporate that. So it's kind of fun because I feel like I'm getting closer to it if I, as I go along.
Yeah, and with me, it's like a weird mix of Bronze Age because that's what I love the most.
Right.
Because I can see parts of this, parts of that.
Well, that's a fun thing that I like about the indie comic book scene, I guess, is just everybody's different styles, because you go to Marvel and DC and there's house styles, but now that those styles are kind of going towards a certain direction, and it's just another house style, really.
Yeah.
And with the indie scene, you get all kinds of different stuff. Like you get people that are drawing things like the stuff they grew up with. Like I think people like Eric Hawkins and you, they draw kind of that style that reminds people of what they grew up with if they were reading from that era. Then you've got people like Tonic Mole, who's just doing his own take on stuff, and yeah, it's cool to see all the different ways people draw things. That's for sure.
Yeah, I'm not into stuff that's really derivative, like the people trying to say that they're doing manga, but they're like some American guy who is not Japanese or Asian.
It never looks right.
Yeah.
There's always an off model about it.
And I don't, there's a lot of people doing that now, and I don't like everybody trying to go, this looks like something that would have come out from Image in the 90s. It seems like indie comics has turned into manga is better or Image Comics was the best, and you don't really have anything in between. I mean, you do, but the stuff that I like is like you was talking about, like Tonic Mole stuff and Eric and the guys who are doing something just what they like, not something trying to fit into what's cool.
Well, it's interesting. It's like Matt Krotz, like that guy. He grew up reading European comics. He didn't really read American comics till like much later, and so his art is like totally different because he just didn't. It's not an influence for him, and it's sort of the same with me. Is like my influences are so old that like they're not. There's no way I would ever want to draw like Rob Liefeld, or like, not that these are bad ways to draw necessarily, but Dan Fraga or someone like really hyper rendering with all these little lines and everything. For me, it's like I do that for a panel and I like really go in and add a bunch of stuff just for fun. But these guys are like the big stylized things. I don't know.
All I ever drew when I was a kid was Ninja Turtles. That's what that would be my style. I can't draw people very well. I just draw Ninja Turtles.
Well, the thing about Liefeld is too, I mean, because I was reading Liefeld when he first started, and his stuff's just dynamic. That's why he's lasted.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he had that period where everything's over render, and now you can tell a lot of it's really fast. It's probably 10, 15-minute sketches,
Mm-hmm.
and then they're inked. But if you go back to like Hawk and Dove and all that, that is good Liefeld.
Well, early X-Force is really good too.
Yeah. In early New Mutants is good.
Yeah.
Right before X-Force.
That was when he was really trying to make make his place. He's trying to make a place at DC, and then when he got to Marvel, he was trying to, that was when he was hungry, I guess you could say.
See, I guess I'm the weird one because everybody always loved McFarlane. I do not like McFarlane.
He's honestly not one of my favorites. Really, I think Eric Larson blows McFarlane out of the water. Like his Spider-Man. I would take Eric Larson's Spider-Man any day over McFarlane's.
See, I don't like Larson's either.
I do, but
not Spider-Man.
I love
his early Dragon was good.
I love his Spider-Man, man. I don't know why. It's just so. I think it's because it was so different.
It could be. It all comes down to style too. Nobody's gonna like the same stuff.
You remember when Mark Bagley first showed up and did Spider-Man like the way he does?
Yeah,
I remember that because I was just a kid and I was like, I don't know, it was so different. I was like Mark Bagley though. Of course, that was like after the Image guys and everything had left, and he was the first kind of big talent Marvel had there. Trash Man says, look at Liam Sharp's current stuff versus the 90s.
Oh, yeah. Drastic difference.
I don't even know what modern... Like, the only modern stuff I see occasionally is Rob Liefeld stuff, and that's just because I follow him on Instagram. I don't see anybody's modern stuff because I don't read modern comics. I actually went to a comic shop. I went to Knoxville with my brother and his wife, and we were going to the gun store because I was going to pick up a gun I had on layaway, and so we decided we was going to go to some comic stores and stuff, and we went to this comic shop, and the place was empty. We were the only people in there, and they had no older comics. There was no dollar bins. There was no collectible stuff. It was wall to wall new comics.
Weird.
And nobody was buying them. I mean, like you could tell, nobody was buying this crap. And I was like, why even have comics?
I don't know. That's weird. You wouldn't have anything to fall back on.
Well, they had a back room that was all tabletop games.
Well, that's where they're making their money.
Yeah.
Because you can't. I mean, new comics aren't making any money. Like the back issues and graphic novels set. Like when I go into the comic book shops around here, the manga section is the first thing you see in a lot of them, or toys. It's like they're not making money off of new comics.
Oh, I actually bought a new comic. I forgot to tell you guys.
What?
I ordered that new Ninja Turtles. Now that it's a collection. What is it?
Ronin or
the Last Ronin. I ordered that, the hardcover. I don't know if it's any good or not, but I was like, "Hey, Ninja Turtles," and it's new.
Well, and I think both Peter Laird and Kevin Eastman worked on it.
Yeah, that was a big selling point for me. I don't think Peter Laird had anything to do with Ninja Turtles for a long time.
Well, so what happened was Kevin Eastman left and he sold all the stuff to Peter Laird, and then he kind of let other people work on it. So he owned it, and then he sold everything to Viacom, and then that's when Viacom contacted Kevin Eastman and said, "Hey, do you want to work on Ninja Turtles?" And he's like, "Yeah, I guess." Kind of funny.
Well, Lyard told me, and this has been years ago, this is back in the AOL days, he told me that they got lucky when they signed the contracts for the cartoon. They messed up and forgot to put the figures in. So then the cartoon hits, that's how they made all their money. Because then they got to negotiate the figures at a higher rate.
Oh, wow.
That's funny.
But he said it was a total accident. Just everybody overlooked figure rights.
Somebody lost their job over that.
Oh, I'm sure.
That's funny.
they're still getting it thrown up to them. Hey, remember that time you messed up that Ninja Turtles contract?
Right.
Hope you enjoy being a janitor. Trashman says Last Ronin rules. That's good because I'm waiting for it to come in the mail.
Zippy said Liefeld needs to do a cover for book 2.
I'll ask him. I'll tag him on Twitter and go, hey, will you do a cover for book 2?
I did that cable homage cover for that X Liefeld's parody
Yeah.
that Potsy wrote, and it came out at San Diego a couple years ago. And Liefeld was online. If you bring that book up, I'm not signing it.
Oh man, he probably won't do a cover for us then. He's probably got a list with your name on it.
But before that, he was totally fine with it. He's like, yeah, that's cool.
No, he probably just didn't want to sign it.
He didn't want to sign them.
I don't blame him, really.
I don't either.
Well, we're still at 247, so we need some backers. I shared it on Twitter and I shared it on my Facebook.
We still early. Like I said, everybody's at work.
I don't blame them. I'd go to work too, but I don't want to.
You're always at work.
Pretty much. I had to trade and work a couple of night shifts just to get today off. I was like, I need the day off. I didn't tell nobody at work because they're like my house manager and stuff. He's like one of these dudes who chews tobacco every day and talks about how, a real man should do this. And he always tells me I need a haircut because I look like a hippie. I wasn't going to tell him, yeah, I need off because I'm launching my new comic book. Figured he'd make fun of me.
Eric Hawkins said he doesn't know if there is a modern style anymore. 90s, you had the West Coast style, and today's stuff is all over.
Yeah, what is it? It's really bad. What was it they was calling it before? Reddit style or something like that. I can't remember.
Oh, Tumblr.
Tumblr, there you go. Tumblr art.
Yeah.
There's some bad stuff out there now.
Well, yeah, I don't know, man. I think it's probably for the best because, I mean, Marvel and DC Comics, they're pretty much irrelevant, other than that they exist in the pop culture. When movies come out or TV shows or what have you,
Yeah.
they maintain their relevancy. But the actual comics part of it, it's totally irrelevant.
Yeah.
Totally irrelevant.
Why do you want to go and create characters there?
I don't.
So they can put them in a movie or a TV show and you get $500?
Yeah.
You just don't.
There's no incentive.
Well, like when I was a kid, I liked drawing Superman because he's Superman. But at no point in my life was I ever like, you know what I want to do? I want to draw Superman when I grow up. Like I've never made a comic about Superman. Like not even as a kid did I always made my own characters, and it just never appealed to me. Now, obviously, if I got contacted and they were like, "Yeah, we want you to do this," I'd be like, "Well, of course I would do it."
Oh, I'd go draw Superman.
Yeah, for sure. But
I would too. It'd be the worst selling comic of all time, but I'd do it.
I don't know about that.
So I made a comic book when I was in 4th grade, and I drew all these characters. I love Spider-Man, so I had this guy who was like Venom, and then I had these other guys who they had these metal helmets and these blades. And the comic book was called like Alpha Force 5 or something like that. I wish I still had it. I got in trouble and the teacher threw it away. I actually drew the whole comic. It was like 5 pages and stapled it together. Instead of
threw it away. What?
She got mad at me because she said I wasn't doing my work, but I had got my work finished because I was way smarter than everybody else in the class. And she took it and threw it away. And I was like, I already got my work done. She told my parents that I spent too much time drawing pictures. I got in trouble.
And then you didn't become an artist because of her.
Pretty
Like,
much. Pretty
terrible.
much.
Yeah, I guess my educational experience was a lot different because I had teachers that were real encouraging of things, and I didn't draw that much as much as other people, but they would always tell me my writing was really good and, oh, you should do this and that. So I got encouraged a lot more than I think.
I got told that playing music was a waste of time, and that in high school they told me that I couldn't go to art school, and like pretty much everything I ever kind of wanted to do, they were just like, no, you can't do that.
Yeah,
That's
because my wife's a musician. She's a violinist, classically trained. She has a degree in music performance and in music education. So she has 2 bachelor's degrees, and her dad was a music teacher, violinist, and her brothers all play instruments and stuff. So for her life was, yeah, this is a great skill. And if people don't know what can be done with something, they write it off, and it just kills people's knowledge. Like I took piano lessons for a little bit as a kid, but I had no idea I could ask my parents, hey, can I still can I have more piano lessons? Like it never crossed my mind to ask my parents for that. And they didn't seem to think I was all that interested in it.
Yeah.
And so then I never learned to really play the piano.
See, like my parents were like poor, like super poor when I was a kid. So I remember my grandpa. I'd been playing guitar. I actually had a guitar. Grandpa had bought me a guitar, and I'd sit and learned the chords on my own. And this is pre-internet, so you couldn't get on YouTube, or you couldn't get on the internet and find all this stuff. I'd go to, like, we had a Christian bookstore, and they had a book, and I'd get and learn the chords, and just try to figure out how to play that way. Or I'd listen to a record. I would get a record out and sit, and I learned songs like that. And my grandpa, he took and paid for guitar lessons. I didn't take them a real long time because, by that point I was 15, 16 in high school. So what I got to learn from him for a little while from the guitar teacher, was all the musical training I ever had, because at that point I had to go out and get a job. So there wasn't no after school, activities. I had to go to work. And anytime I didn't go to work, Dad made us go to church. So there was nights of the week where I never went home. I'd go either home or we'd go to church for 3 hours. Or not 3 hours, but 3 days a week. It was kind of crazy. It never occurred to me that playing an instrument or doing any kind of art could be something I could do with my life. Like I was discouraged from everything in high school. Any idea I had, I was told, no, you can't do that. You can't do this. You can't do that. No, you can't do this. And so, like, I was aimless for years. I guess that's one reason that I've just kind of always been that I'm going to do what I want, and a career is not really. I don't need a career to impress anybody. If I work at Walmart, but I still get to sit around and record my music that 3 people listen to, I'm pretty content with that. And that's just kind of the way I roll.
All school got you ready for anyway was for a 9-to-5 job.
Yeah. Jobs are dumb.
Yeah, we're going to homeschool our children.
I don't blame you.
Especially since my wife is a public school teacher, and she's like, yeah, there's no way. And what's funny is, so her parents were both public school teachers. She was a public school teacher. Her brother was a public school teacher. Her grandfather was a public school teacher. And none of her or her brothers have their children in public school.
I don't blame them. My brother homeschools, him and his wife homeschool their kids. Their kids are way smarter than any other kids their age.
That's the thing that I was glad about is that for most of my childhood, elementary school and middle school, my parents paid for my brother and I to go to a Christian private school. And so a lot of the ways that we learn, the things we learn is just different than once I went to public school and high school.
What, you spend half your day walking around to your classes.
Yeah.
and
Well,
getting picked on by their kids.
there's a pastor, his name is Vodi Bacham, and he's a big proponent of homeschooling. And he had a, sorry, one of his people that went to his church came up and was like, well, we started homeschooling, but we're done by like 10, 11 o'clock in the morning. And he's like, are we doing it wrong? And he's like, no, the public schools are inefficient. You're doing it right. Like, let the
That's
kid go
all
out and
it
play
takes.
outside.
Dude, that's exactly the way my nephews are. Like my brother has his own business, so they do their schoolwork and they're usually done 10, 11 o'clock. They have lunch. Then they'll go and they work for him for a couple hours, and he pays them a little bit of money to do a little bit of work for him. So here they are, they're smart. They only spend so many hours at school, and they get to make money, and to me that works out so much better, and they are the most well-adjusted children I've ever seen in my life.
Well, that's how they try and scare everybody out of it. They're like, oh, they won't have no socialization.
Oh, you mean they won't learn all the dirty jokes and all the ways to get away with things? Oh my word!
Well, so I tell you what's cool is like where they go to church. The other people that homeschool, they get together and the kids all hang out. They play basketball together. They do things. They're always got supervision. When I was in school, the teachers would send us down to the playground, and they would sit up by the building and smoke or drink coffee, while the rest of us would fight. No joke. I don't know how many fights I got into in elementary school because nobody was looking, and somebody would always run up and just, how mean kids are. They would just show up and just like run up and sucker punch you or whatever, just because they knew they could get away with it.
So this is where my experience differs because the private Christian school was there was you went out on the playground and I remember times when things happen, fights or whatever, what have you, but just not on a scale. And bullying, I mean, there's only like 30 people in your grade. Like, who's going to bully someone and get away with it?
Yeah.
Like, there was teasing and things like that happened, but not on the scale that you see that I hear stories about. And then even once I went to high school, it just never happened to me. Like, I got along with everybody, and no one ever. I was more like ignored than I was bullied.
Oh man,
Yeah,
I don't
you
know.
missed out because
I
I go
must-
back a little further. I remember the teachers even laughing when people would get bullied.
Yeah. Dude, I was always real quiet because I was real shy, and so I was always the one getting bullied. And most time it didn't bother me. I let it roll off my back or whatever. It wasn't no big deal. By the time I got to high school, about sophomore year, I didn't take crap off nobody anymore.
Yeah.
It turned me into a completely different person. It was, I mean, I was picking on football players. They'd come through. I had one football player. When we were freshmen, I had a pre-algebra, and so we had a lot of
Like,
seniors in there, who didn't take it and wanted an easy class. So the seniors, I'm sitting in class surrounded by seniors, and they all pick on me because I'm a freshman. One dude who was also a freshman, but he was on the football team, he would join in with them and be like, ah. So I caught him outside of class one day, and he started his crap, and I just knocked him down. I took my fist and went, bam! And he fell and started crying. And I was just like, that's what you get. I said some not nice stuff to him. It wasn't bad words, but it's stuff that you're not allowed to say now. But and after that, nobody really messed with me until senior year.
it's so interesting. I don't know. It must be. I grew up in it. My dad was a firefighter, and my mom did various jobs. Ended up working for the government. So like we weren't well to do, but my parents saved every penny. So eventually, when I was a little bit older, they bought a house in a nice area of town, and so I went to a decent high school. But in my high school, the football players were more likely to tell whoever was bullying someone to shove off. You know, they were not going to put up with that stuff. They were the guys that were getting, you know, the class president, the people who were at the top of the list in terms of education and smarts and stuff. So these were the guys that were on the football team, and then the guys who were bigger on the football team, linemen and stuff, were some of the sweetest, nicest guys in the school. And so they, like it's just interesting that like none of the stereotypes seem to work at my high school.
Apparently,
My experience.
you went to high school on a TV sitcom or something.
Well, no, see the opposite, because like TV sitcoms, there's always a bully. Like I remember somebody was telling me like, oh, I was like, well, who was mean to you in high school? Like, give me one name. Somebody I went to high school with, and they said this guy, and I knew him. I knew this guy, and I was like, there is no way that guy bullied you. There's no way. He's on the football team with me and stuff. And I was like, what did he do? Well, he never talked to me. And the thing is, this guy is like really handsome, like tall, like 6'1", 2, like played football, athletic, but he's super quiet and shy, and he never talked to anybody. And like he is like one of the nicest people ever. And I was like, he's just shy. Like you're the bully. You're the one thinking he was bad because he didn't talk.
So
it wasn't he was being
apparently they didn't know what bullying was.
Apparently. Now there was like a few kids that were just jerks. Like their parents were real rich or whatever, and for whatever reason they were jerks, but they weren't popular. Like they weren't. Dude, it wasn't a popular thing to do.
Majority of our football team was made up of jerks. There was one year, I think it was my junior year. The guys I played music with, like they were in marching band, and they were like, "Dude, you got to come be in marching band and concert band with us." I was like, "Okay." So me and the bass player from my band, we are in percussion, so we're carrying bass drums. I'm like 6'1", and at the time probably 200 pounds. I'm a pretty big dude. This guy's a good 6'3", 300 pounds. We're carrying bass drums. The football team sees us. We're at an away game. This is how awful our football team was. They try to run over us, like I guess to look cool. Trash your own team, your own side's band. They tried to run through us and knock us down. So when they run up, me and this guy set our bass drums down and just knocked down half the football team because we were bigger than them.
That's fine. Yes, like I was on the football team in high school, and so like I knew all these guys, and
you were a popular kid. That's what it
was. No, I wasn't.
Yeah,
I wasn't.
Yeah, I wasn't. See what it is now.
It's not true. That's just not true. Like I wasn't. But the thing was, I got to see a lot of them, and I got to see a lot of the nerds because I would, I'd go into the library and I read the newspaper every morning, and so people would be like, "Oh, that's the guy that reads the newspaper," and they'd come talk to me. Or like, I'd walk around and I'd find the kids playing Magic the Gathering, and I'd like watch them play Magic the Gathering. So I was kind of like a loner in high school, and that I didn't really have a group, and so I got to see and know a lot more people, I think, in high school. And I think I was just fortunate that there was bullying and stuff, but it was mostly girls. Like the girls were.
Yeah, the girls were pretty bad at my school, but like I was the same way. I didn't have a group. Like it was kind of weird because I was friends with like different people from different groups, and like if they all came in, like we were talking at the same time, it was the most awkward group you've ever seen. There would be a couple of stoners. There'd be a football player or two. There'd be some rednecks and some skateboarders. And every one of them would ask me, "Well, why do you hang out with those guys? Or why do you hang out with those guys?" It's just always kind of weird. But see, I also I was talking about, I got kind of ill there. I started taking up for other people too. So usually, if you got picked on and stuff, people they'd come hang out with me because I wouldn't let people pick on them.
Right.
I'd get hateful and yell.
I see, like being the kid that went to Christian school, then went to public high school. A good Christian kid. It also wasn't like I was destined to be the most popular kid. Like no one ever invited me to any parties or anything because they knew I wouldn't go.
Yeah. I never got invited to parties either.
I never wanted to be popular. I just wanted everybody to let me do what I was doing.
Yeah. We got Tonic Mole in the chat.
Hey.
Hey, Tonic Mole, we're trying to get funded so I can shoot these 5 CDs of a Desert Eagle. And apparently you can't buy these anymore, so it makes them ultra rares. OOPs out of print. Emo. Spread the word. Shoot stuff with guns.
I posted on my Facebook. I don't know if that's going to get anything, but that's a different audience because it's only people I know.
Well, see, when I did Lone Wolf, all my family and stuff backed it because it was my first thing. And then, now nobody pays any attention. They're like, yeah, whatever. He does things. He's not right. I think he's
that boy
special.
Right.
That boy doing that, playing them guitars and making them comic books. You think he grew up? He's almost 40 years old. What's wrong with that boy?
God, you're so young.
I don't feel it, man. I've absolutely wrecked myself here in the last few years. I feel like an old man.
It's like I feel like people who are in the military, like me, like it adds like a decade to your age. And then I did other jobs that weren't exactly easy. So now I feel like, man, I just want to sit here. I don't want to do anything. I don't want to go to work. I don't want to do nothing.
See, my job has done that to me, man. I seen a picture. It was probably about 10, 11 years ago when I was still working at Walmart, third shift, and me and Mom and Dad went somewhere. We was riding motorcycles. And I remember this picture. Oh, I remember it back then because I was still living at home, and Mom and Dad, Mom, if she'd get our clothes mixed up, me and Dad's, I probably weighed like 230. Dad's, he's taller than me. I probably weighed like 230, 240 pounds. And I was like, I'm so fat. I'm so fat. Looking at the pictures, and I'm like, man, if I weighed that much now, I'd kill. I'd be out raising heck. But like my job, it is so stressful. It's like you don't even have to do anything physical. It makes your brain just shut down, and all you can think about is, I need to rest my brain. I need to find something I can do that just put my brain on autopilot. And then I wrecked my truck, and that's almost buried me. There's days, man, I can't even get up and walk. I don't know. I feel like I'm 60, 70 years old. Can't even take the dog for a walk sometimes. And I'm not even 40 yet.
One of the reasons I started drawing was because I needed something to get my brain to decompress from the job I had at the time. It was just one of the most stressful jobs you could have. I was I was working sometimes 16-hour days every day for weeks on end. And
that's awful.
It's I couldn't take it. And then I needed something on the days I had off because I didn't have the time on those days, obviously, to do anything, but I needed something that I could just focus entirely on a task other than that job.
Yeah.
That trash is belling. He's headed to the gun range.
Go have some fun for me.
He's got to shoot that new gun.
What's he got?
Bought a Ruger.
Oh man,
I don't know exactly. All I saw was the picture.
I've got one. I've actually got a call and put it on layaway. I won it on auction the other day. I bought an MP5 clone. I can't wait to get that. I'll be pretending I'm the guy from Die Hard, except fat. I've got my Beretta and I've got the MP5. I'm gonna take my shoes off and run around the house. It's gonna be awesome.
Well, as we've sat here talking, I have drawn a single panel, but I have done it in such a way as to blow all these guys that take months and months of their time, blow them out of the water with this amazing
Oh
panel.
man.
Well, while you're drawing, Tonic put us over 300.
Yep, I was just about to say that.
Oh,
That's awesome. Thanks, man.
appreciate
I was just looking at that.
What makes me happy is that like all the artists that I like looking at their stuff on in this indie scene, they're all like, "Man, I love your style and this and that," and like I feel like they're being genuine.
Yeah.
And that, like Tonic's one of those guys that's like, "No, man, like your stuff's really good," and it's it's gone from, "Oh man, you've been getting so much better," to like, "Oh yeah, I love that." It's like, yes, I finally turned that corner where it's like, it's good enough where it's not just better than what I was doing. It's actually something somebody wants to look at.
Yeah, and I'm 100% serious when I say I want you to do more backup stories and stuff for me. And I will pay you money.
And Tonic's one of those artists I look at now and I'm like, oh, I wish I could draw like that. But I can't.
No, like the page he did with all the shards where it has all the different characters for the new book he's done, like that. You look at that page, the way he drew his characters there, and you go back to like the first issue of Saving the World, and it's like it looks like the same characters and his style, but his style is just so much matured over these 8 issues that it's like, man, that's why these people need to be just cranking out books. Like,
yeah,
like they need to be dropping time.
Can you believe he's on number 8? And him and Eric Hawkins, you talk about natural growth. That's how you build a real fan base.
Yeah.
You just keep putting. You could have a flash in the pan kind of success where just for some reason, you get on a stream or somebody says something and you sell like 1 million copies of your first book. But let's say it doesn't happen the second time and nobody gives a flip. Those guys are building real fan bases. They're going to be dedicated. I just hope that maybe we can stick to it and do something like that.
You just got to crank out the scripts.
Yeah, I know it. I'm just going to start calling you and leaving these big long voicemails describing everything.
Whatever it takes.
And then. No, I was writing at work. I had my little tablet and was taking it, and I stopped taking it. That one client got real violent and started trying to break everything. And I was like, if he breaks my tablet, I'm going to lose it.
Had to take away that wrestling.
Yeah. Well, he's not even the one that likes wrestling. This is the one. He just likes hot dogs, and you can't really take away hot dogs because he'll eat something else. It's like no big thing. I don't know, man. My world is insane. The most insane stuff that doesn't even make sense. It's just world ending for these guys. Oh,
Yeah,
how long?
One issue, PsychoTron will get hired to babysit 2 people.
There you go. Write what you know. Well, the 3 characters that you drew that were kind of like the Three Stooges.
Oh, I can't wait for you to put them in.
Maybe we'll do them that way.
Because I love that one with the boilerplate on his belly.
Yeah, dude, that was some killer design. First time you showed me, I was like, that is so cool.
Those three will be fun.
Yeah.
And whose book are they in? Tonics.
Mm-hmm. The one I forgot to back. I messaged him. I was like, "Hey man, did I back that book?" And he's like, he checked. He's like, "No." I was like, I missed it in Thrashers. I did the soundtrack for Thrashers and couldn't even remember to back. I don't know, guys. And it's like I thought I'd done it. Maybe I opened it and fell asleep. I don't know. I'm bad if somebody else send a message like last night in the group chat you guys were talking. It took me an hour to send my response of 12 Central or whatever because I was half asleep and I was typing it. I was like, I've got to get this message typed. And sometimes I'll wake up and I've typed a message and never hit send, and it's like 3 days later before I check it. It's bad.
Well, the only reason I'm so quick, I've just got my phone sitting there while I'm working.
I don't go anywhere without my phone, but like the worst thing's being at work because you only get reception like in a certain spot of the room or in that one bathroom, and the bathroom smells like a bathroom, like a dirty bathroom. Like I've went there and cleaned it and everything. I don't know if there was a leak or something one day I wasn't there, but it smells like a gas station bathroom now, and I cannot get it to go away. And I'm not going to go in there and play on my phone.
Nah, I'd pass.
Yeah, I'll just sit there in the dark and watch something stupid on TV instead of writing scripts. I guess. See, I was taking a notebook and writing scripts, but then I'm like, I have to type this out. If I was to take a picture and send you the script, you wouldn't be able to read it. You'd be like, what is this? So I have to do notes at work and detail everything, and sometimes people are like, I don't know what your note said. And it says, well, he was asleep because he sleeps half of my shift.
I don't know. That's what I do all my scripts on is on my phone. I just use my notepad. But if you're not getting any, well, you wouldn't need reception for notepad or something like that.
No. I tell you what I was kind of thinking about doing. Because, I was talking about I used to like to draw, but I'm so awful now. I would like to get a tablet, that's decent size that I could type on, because I've got a Bluetooth keyboard. I could just Bluetooth it to it and type. I'd like to be able to do that and then just be able to draw out ideas I've got or different things, Maybe even just start practicing drawing where I could draw some stuff myself on occasion. I'd like to do a cover or something, sometime. Did you see where Donnie Cates did a penciled a cover? I think he did a Spawn cover. He penciled it and McFarlane inked it.
No, I didn't see it. I saw he was going to, but I didn't see the actual piece.
See, I think that would be cool.
That's why I just get Gary Shipman to ink my covers, and then it looks great. And everyone's like, "Well, that's a great cover." I'm like, yeah, it's totally my pencils. That's totally my pencils. Gary Shipman inked it though. But
but honestly, you could just say I drew that, and technically you did.
Well, so Gary said, "Nope, that's your pencils. That's you did that." And I was like, "Gary, that's not true, man." Like the underlying structure is something I drew, yes, but everything good about it.
Yeah, but see, that's where inks are weird. Inks can either make it look good or it can ruin it.
That's true. I could ink it and it'd definitely be ruined.
It is kind of crazy.
I don't know. I've seen some pretty bad inking.
Hey, you know what's trending on Twitter?
PsychoTron?
Amber Turd.
Probably don't want to know.
Amber Turd.
It's always trending some stupid Amber Heard thing.
It doesn't, but it's actually Amber Turd, so that's why I thought it was funny. I was just checking to see if anybody was sharing my post about PsychoTron, and they are, so that's cool. But we've launched in the middle of the day, and we're already 60% funded, so that's not bad.
60%.
Oh no, I think you'll be out there shooting the CDs.
I hope so. That offer only stands for today.
What? I'm just gonna go back, pay the rest of the money, and then refund it.
Refund it tomorrow. Yeah, oh, I've had to refund. Sorry.
Gary Shipman just launched his new Titan Mouse of Might Volume 3. So that deserves to be like the most funded book on, other than ours, of course.
I always hear lots of good things about that guy, but I've never really interacted with Gary Shipman. And I don't watch a lot of YouTube, so I don't watch his YouTube either.
He is the sweetest, nicest guy in the whole world.
That's what I hear.
A genuinely good Christian man.
Maybe we should get him to do a PsychoTron cover. Someday. Oops, I clicked the wrong thing. That ruined our stream. Clicking on the wrong stuff. I'm trying to move things so I can look at it. Let's see. Yeah, like I said, anytime you guys got to go, you can go. I'll probably go eat some lunch here in a few minutes. We've been streaming for what, over 2 hours? It's been 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Wizard of Oz reboot? Yeah, I'll pass.
Here's the crazy thing is, like, Wizard of Oz is in the public domain. Why don't people make good stuff?
Eric Hawkins does.
That's what I'm saying. There's one guy.
I still haven't read issue 4 yet, though. I've got it right
I
here.
love that cover.
I need to read it. Thing is, though, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's my short-term memory or what. I don't remember what happened, so I don't, like, when I get a new issue of somebody's book, I need to go back and read all the others. Is that just like getting old, or what is it?
Just have him send you the digitals.
I've got them all in here. I just haven't got around to doing it.
No, that's being worn out from that job of yours, and then you just don't feel like it.
Yeah, that's true too. So I don't have no Mantis in my house anymore.
What you do to him?
I had Mom come down here. We was going to catch him in a box, and she just she got the broom and was going to knock him into this box. And when she stuck the broom up, he flew down onto the couch, and then she stuck the broom back over there, and he just got on it, and she just took him outside.
Yeah, I used to catch them when I was little.
It wouldn't have bothered me, but I've seen too many YouTube videos where people will get them and they jump in their face.
No, it wouldn't worry me with one of those.
I don't know. I've turned into some kind of big sissy, I guess. Maybe I should have done an all ukulele soundtrack to PsychoTron.
I sent you guys the drawing I've been working on.
Is it good?
I don't know. That's for you to determine.
Let me open up messages. It's a woman.
Oh, yeah,
You're gonna get in. You're gonna get into drawing them dirty pictures, ain't you?
Oh, no.
He's gonna graduate to drawing a tonic cover.
You seen the other pages of it? This one, it's about the big girl. Mostly, so this girl, she ain't on the screen for very long, but she's integral to the plot. She's very, very important.
And she's integral to the plot because she gets naked and you draw naked, dirty pictures.
No, sir. I'd be slapped some.
He'll be doing a cover for Skinny before long.
Oh my word!
By the way, have you seen Eric's cover for Skinny's next book? I don't want to say what it is because I don't want to give it away. I don't know if he's told anybody.
I'll drop it.
It is so cool, man. It is so cool.
You guys, you have seen a picture, the most risque thing I've drawn.
Skinny said it was terrifying.
It was a while ago. I sent you. Oh, there you go. That's pretty good. I like it.
That's not all he wants in it, though.
I'm sure it's not. No, I sent you guys a while ago. I sent it though.
Yeah, I remember.
I got approval. I got approval for it.
Yeah, I bet you did. Dude, that's even cooler with the colors on it. I hadn't seen the colors.
I like the red sky.
Did you know one time I sat and learned the theme song to that movie on guitar?
Did you really?
I couldn't play it now if I had to, but I remember one night I was sitting at home playing it. And this was when I was living with Mom and Dad, so it's probably 20 years ago. I was sitting there playing it, and I started singing it. And my brother just comes out of nowhere, my youngest brother, and he starts laughing. He goes, "That's the theme to that." I don't want to say the movie because I don't want to give away Skinny's cover. But he goes, "That's that theme," and I said, "Yep."
I haven't seen those movies since I was a kid.
Doing time. This ain't no. I ain't gonna sing no more of it either. Hey, look at these real cool pins I got. You could use them as a fake eyeball. You know, if I dyed my mustache and my hair, I could be PsychoTron. Like fat PsychoTron.
Yeah, you have to cosplay him. You got to go to a con to sell the books, and then you dress up as PsychoTron.
Be dressed as him to sell the books. I just have to dye part of my hair. There's a lot of gray in it. I just need to dye the brown.
It'd be that ginger hair would be the hardest part.
Yeah. I couldn't make it match. Maybe I'll be PsychoTron's evil twin. There's always evil twins.
True.
I'll just have a fake eye on the other side and then have brown hair. His fat evil twin.
Well, that's what I can't wait to start designing is all the team members that you were talking about on your other stream.
Yeah, talking about doing the team, the headbangers. Yeah, dude, that'll be fun. That'll be real fun. And I actually kind of have a twist for Kildroid, and it's a different one than what I was originally going to go with. I'll tell you guys what I was originally thinking about doing, because I'm not going to do it now because I don't like it compared to what I was thinking. But originally, Kildroid was going to be the brain of a clone of PsychoTron put in that body, and he was going to be was supposed to originally be PsychoTron 2.0. And I'm like, that's too close to RoboCop 2. So I changed my mind. Yeah, but so originally it was going to be pretty much PsychoTron versus an evil PsychoTron, but I changed it.
Well, that's good because we only get to see Kildroid for just a couple of panels.
Yeah. Well, he'll show back up later on.
I've decided to call that comic I've been drawing, the big girl comic, Fresh Donuts.
Man, I meant to write a story for that one that I named for you. I can't remember what it is now.
Reginald, the strongest man in South Jersey.
Yeah, I need to write something for that.
You do. That's going to be such a great book, especially now because like even since I drew that, I was like what, year and a half ago, something like that, probably. Like even since then, like my art's gotten.
I'll buckle down. I need to send Eric the last part of PsychoTron 2. I just wait to see how many pages we wanted to go for. Because
that's up to you. What you sent me before, I think I have plotted out to like 20 or 22 pages.
Okay, so I'll probably throw about 2 or 3 more pages in there, and we'll wrap that one up. Well, I'll write it out, and you can make it in how many pages you think.
Okay.
But it's pretty close to being wrapped up on that one. And then I actually have a story I was writing for Tonic Mole, and I kind of got stuck because when I write something for somebody else, even if it's a piece of music or whatever, I overthink it too much. And I finally come up with an ending to it, so I need to go ahead and finish that and send it to him. I don't know if he'll use it or not, but I think it's funny. And then I'll go ahead and do Reginald, the strongest man in South Jersey.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Yeah, I've got a couple of different people that are sort of working on things for me to draw. Mecca McCheese is working on a project. We're reviving a public domain superhero that nobody knows because everyone picks Black Terror, or, you know, Silver Streak, or some of these other
Airboy.
Yeah.
I'm guilty of Airboy.
So we pick one that, like, I know nobody knew, and I knew Mecca would be perfect for it. And he and I just went off one night, like, all this crazy stuff for it. So he's working on putting together the world and storyline for that. And then I don't know if you guys know Josh, the cartoon guy. He does,
Yeah.
number one Marmaduke fan.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was talking about putting together a little script for me. So I tell everybody, give me something to draw. No, nobody takes me up on it.
Yeah.
Except for you and Skin.
I hate to ask people to draw stuff, but like, you guys are so cool. It's like, I don't know. I'll get you some more stuff. I'm so used to everybody taking so long and just like not doing anything that I have to catch up with. I have to get my work ethic back up to where it was.
I like getting you or Skinny's scripts because then I don't have to think about what I got to draw. I know, like, the basics, and then I can just put fun stuff in the background or do whatever. So I like that. Like, gives me a break from having to come up with it myself.
Yeah. Well, I'll crank you out some more stuff, and I'll send Eric then to PsychoTron too. And who knows, you might be later in PsychoTron 2 here pretty soon.
Fun.
How many pages I got fully complete? Like 8?
I don't know,
10?
it's quite a few.
I mean, colored. I think there's 8 or 10 colored.
It's going to be awesome. I don't feel like
There will not be a long wait.
Yeah. It definitely not as long a wait as we've waited on one to come out.
Yeah, like, basically, as soon as probably be able to do it just like we did with this one, where pretty much a month or two after I get them, it's ready to go.
Yeah. Look, like, I would rather wait till after the holidays to launch it. So,
yeah.
So, like, we get this done, fulfill it. I've set it for November, but I'm really going to try to get it fulfilled by October. Just going to give myself a little bit extra time in case something happened. And, maybe we could launch 2 by the end of January or February if we've got it done. And then, I'll go ahead and start working on 3 after.
Yeah, go ahead and start. I'll have 2 done so we can have it done by then, as long as Fox can letter it.
Yep.
It shouldn't take him long. How long did it take you to letter 1? Like
week and a half, I think.
And that was just because you took a couple breaks.
Yeah. Yep. Like, it took me like probably, I don't know, less than 20 hours, I would say.
Yeah. Tonic Mole says never ship during Christmas. That would be such a disaster.
You can't ship now half the time.
Yeah.
Our post office only has like 3 or 4 people working in it, so it takes them a week to get mail to you.
That's the way my post office is. It has 3 people that work there, and not all at the same time.
Yeah.
Well, see, I live in one of the biggest cities in the world, so like there's lots of people at the post office. I don't know what you're talking about.
I still, I'm not gonna say it. I'll end up doing it anyway. I don't want to give away the surprise. Oh, well, guys, I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up for now and go get some lunch. And I may stream here in a couple hours, or not a couple hours, but, later this evening, maybe around 6 or 7. So if you guys want to join me, you can. If you don't want to, that's fine.
Yeah, just send me the link.
You need to get that book funded so you can go out there and shoot your CDs.
Yeah.
That's right. Maybe if it funds before then, I'll go shoot
Oh.
them. And
Be a live stream shooting.
I hate to do that. They'll definitely cut it off. It'll be like, bam, disappear. Tonic Mo's only got one mail lady, he says. Well, that's what happens. Anyways, we're out of here. I'm going to actually end the show with the PsychoTron promo, or not promo, but video thing. So we'll be back out a while. Go get the book funded. Bye.